Thanks for checking out the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to see me play your deck, hang out with me in the amazing BoshNRoll community in Discord, access to my lists and sideboard guides before tournaments, book an individual coaching session, or just generally want to support what's going on here, check out the Patreon and YouTube membership options. For the finest Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, use code BoshNRoll for 10% off your order at coalesceapparel.shop. Moxfield.com is the easiest way to build a Magic deck online. If you want to play what I'm playing, use my affiliate link to support the channel while you shop for cards at tcgplayer.com and play any deck anytime on Magic Online with a cardhoarder.com loan account. Thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I'm playing Legacy at the request of Patreon subscriber Aces Wild, and I am revisiting Initiative Stasis. This is a deck that I brewed a couple weeks ago for another Patreon subscriber. And the premise is that White Plume Adventurer locks perfectly alongside Stasis as a self-contained win condition, because at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you get to untap a creature you control. If you've completed a dungeon, untap all creatures you control instead. With a mana dork that can tap for blue, that means you can pay for Stasis with that mana dork by untapping it on your opponent's upkeep instead of your own untap step, and keep Stasis in play indefinitely while you slide through the dungeon. And eventually that will represent a win condition. You'll deal 5 to your opponent, you'll throw more creatures into play. Once you complete a dungeon, you could start attacking because you're untapping all your creatures instead of just your mana dork. It just, hand in hand, one of Magic's wonkiest cards from the first set, and this much more modern problem, they click together perfectly and make a deck. The list I played last time was rough. It was also a brew challenge based on I had to play 4 Quarian Rangers. I don't have that restriction anymore, so I can move that around. And my Eternal Glory podcast co-host, Phil Gallagher, aka Thrabenyu, played a version of this deck last week on his channel, and he went 1-4, where his only win was an opponent timing out. Where when I played this deck, I went 4-1, narrowly losing a trophy match at the end of the league. Those are 2 pretty disparate data points, and as far as I know, they're the only 2 data points that exist. Sending it down the cannon again is a nice way to break this tie. We need a rubber match here. Is this deck playable or unplayable? To be determined. But here are the upgrades I made, or updates. To be determined if they're upgrades, but I think they are. Number 1, there's no Forsaken City in the deck anymore. I played 1 in the last league as a way to keep Stasis going, but it was the worst land in the deck in all non-Stasis situations, and I found that there's so many things going on with Stasis that you just don't need it. So it's out. Basic Island replaced it. I also had a Dryad Arbor in the last deck, which was kind of a vestigial appendage from an earlier brew of the deck that was a Green Sun Zenith package, which what happened with that was it started as a Zenith deck, and then I slowly cut Zenith's targets until Zenith didn't make sense anymore. Then I cut Zenith, but the Dryad Arbor still stayed in the deck for unknown reasons. That's out. Just got a much more stable mana base here because the 2 worst lands are out and 2 better lands are in. I don't need to play 4 Quarian Rangers anymore, and the reason this card's in the deck is picking up a Tropical Island to untap a mana dork lets you replay the Tropical Island untapped and untaps the mana dork, giving you 2 extra turns to function under Stasis. That's the theory there, and that does work, but you don't need 8 copies of Quarian Ranger, and Scryb Ranger has all the same words as Quarian Ranger, plus some extra important ones, and Flash, Flying, and Protection from Blue. Scryb Ranger holds the fort against Murktide, Regent, and Delver like a boss, while doing the same thing that Quarian Ranger does. This is the better version of this effect. But this effect is not very good at all if you don't have a mana dork to go with it. 2 of the Quarian Rangers that I cut became Birds of Paradise to supplement the Noble Hierarchs that were in the original list. I'm up to 6 mana dorks now instead of 4. Other changes I made, I added a second Derevi Imperial Tactician. Derevi, when it enters the battlefield or when a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you may tap or untap target permanent. This is a combo with Stasis White Plume Adventurer with a Mana Dork is a combo with Stasis. A Ranger effect with a Mana Dork is a combo with Stasis. The Fairy who slows the sunset is a combo with Stasis. All of these are different ways to fuel Stasis that also overlap with each other. There were 2 explorations in my last build. This is nice with multiple Quirion Rangers. You can make multiple land drops or generate multiple mana and function on low resources, but it's not required, and it's pretty bad when you're not doing exactly the thing that you're doing that wants this effect. So I'm down to 1. I still think it's good enough to have sometimes, but you never want to draw 2. And sometimes you don't want it at all. It's on the watch list. It might not want to be in the deck at all, but I still think it's worth having around. I added a Preordain as cantrip number 9. Now that we're so heavy on mana dorks, we really need to find action and close the door once we're ahead. And I borrowed from Phil a Seasoned Dungeoneer at the top of the curve. This is something he did in his league that I didn't do in mine. It's just another monster you can slam, another way to get the initiative. And sometimes you don't have Stasis. That's just a true fact. And when you don't have the card that your deck is named after, you need to be able to do something. Just rounding out this initiative curve a little bit. And we back it all up with Force of Will. I didn't change the sideboard at all. I think it makes sense with what it's doing. Got our removal, we got our combo hate. And Stasis should be a powerful game plan against most fair decks, shutting down combo or the hyper-aggressive stuff out of the sideboard. Just checking all those boxes. And that's this current build of the deck. We've got a reputation to protect here. I 4-1 to Phil 1 forward. Let's see who actually had the more reasonable experience, and let's go break this tie and play this league. In we go. I'm on the play for round 1. No mana acceleration, but double force with a brainstorm. This is just a keepable legacy hand. Cool thing about Stasis is it doesn't have to happen quickly. It just has to happen before you're dead. Sometimes you come out guns blazing, sometimes you play a 15-turn game and then surprise stick a Stasis at some point. Underground Sea. This double force hand looking reasonable. Okay, Aether Vial makes it look worse. I think I want to force this Vial. Pitching to Fairy, giving away my whole game. That's out of here. Another land. I'm going to brainstorm now. I do have 1-drops that are worth casting. Prioritizing Tropical Island at all times. Nice, okay. Put back Savannah, and I don't hate this Derevi. I don't think I need a 3rd Force of Will. I'll keep Derevi around. Derevi is partially chosen for the deck because he's a blue card, in addition to all the other things he does. All right, shuffle this triple land situation. And drew another land. Cool. I suspect I'm playing against Cephalid Breakfast or some kind of Esper Vial deck. Cephalid Breakfast is more likely. All right. My thoughts. I've expended a lot of resources to not get very far. Just gotta hope taking that Aether Vial slowed them down a lot. I can just F6 from here. They've seen my hand. They know I can't react. Just realized I was recording with the wrong shape. I had the wrong setting on my recording. The screen should look better now. My bad. Okay, they pondered and did not shuffle. That Spell Pierce is actually pretty solid. It's a blue card for force, and it's just a 1-for-1 counter if I'd rather do that. Duress. Built. Well, guess I'll cast my Spell Pierce. And let's see if I'm dead somehow. Wow, Dark Confidant. Wasn't ready for that. On deck. Give me something good. Brainstorm. Noble Hierarch. Right on time. I see you. I hate you. This can hardcast force next turn, but let's find out what we're up against here. Malevolent Hermit. My goodness. What is happening? It's some kind of creature-based combo deck. Duress and Thoughtseize and Malevolent Hermit. It's a Doomsday deck? Okay, it is a Doomsday deck. Or it's just a Divining Witch combo deck of some kind. Divining Witch casts Demonic Consultation, which is a combo with Thassa's Oracle. If they have Oracle in their hand, they can just win this turn. Oh, I'm not going to play that. That gives away too much information. I'm just going to pass and hope my Force of Will holds up against what they're doing, which is unlikely. Brainstorm in their hand. Yeah, okay. Get wrecked to me. Do you have the Oracle? Baleful Strix. Okay. They're cracking a fetch. They can't Oracle from here. They can start beating down. And draw for my turn. Killing me, deck. Killing me. Okay, let's see what happens now. Maybe Bob will flip Tombstalker. Murktide Regent. Just a Prismatic Vista. Brainstorm. Bob is my win con right now. Though Stasis isn't bad. If they don't win right now, Stasis could lock them out long enough to kill them with Bob. Oh, they're witching. They changed their mind. They started to witch and then unwitched. They're in for 5. Not be upset about a Stasis here. Come on, deck. Well, there it is. And I'll cast it. See what happens. All their attacking creatures are frozen. And Stasis resolved. They can Divining Witch for a Thoracle, but then they need another land to go off. Bob trigger. Flipped another Witch. Witch. Activating. Okay, what are you naming? They named a card that is not in their deck, exiled their whole deck, and they did have the Oracle. Oh, that was close. All right, let's look at this deck at least. We've got an Either Vial, 4x Thassa's Oracle. Okay, this is a dedicated Thoracle Divining Witch deck with 1 Thought Lash. This is cool. All right, you got me. Close call. Okay, what's good here? Swords to Plowshares for sure. Endurance is good against Thassa's Oracle. Cards that are less good. I'm going to shave the Exploration. I like the Spell Pierce a lot. They showed me Thoughtseize and Duress. So I have 7 cards I want to bring in. I guess it's the challenge. Derevi might be worse than Endurance. Just heads up. Force of Will seems really bad, but shoving it through Stasis, or getting Stasis shoved through, good. I can shave a Teferi, a Dungeoneer. I want my Mana Dorks. I can shave the Quirion Ranger, that's fine. And the other Teferi. Okay. Just much later on things that combo with Stasis, and much more keep myself alive. Okay. I'll keep my hand. And deploy my Noble Hierarch. My deck is just Bant, so Birds of Paradise doesn't do anything that Noble Hierarch doesn't, but Hierarch does something that Bird doesn't. Thoughtseize. Probably going to lose my Brainstorm here. Unless they're more worried about Swords to Plowshares going long. That'll depend on their hand. Okay, they did take the Plow. Adventurer. Adventurer. Another Brainstorm. I'm going to cast one of them. Endurance in my hand. That's a good one to have around. I can get rid of this Savannah. Maybe I just need Endurance later. I can hide Force of Will on top. I'm not even sure if that's good in the matchup. I can hide Endurance on top. That might be better. Okay, I am going to hide the Endurance on top and play the Bird. Now if they Thoughtseize me again, they won't see the Endurance. Underground Sea, Dark Confidant. Is this a fight I want to fight? I think that it is. I'm going to force pitching Brainstorm. Draw Endurance. Cast Ponder. That's 3 lands. Do I want any of these? I think I will take one of them. That way I can attack and still hold up Endurance. Cracking land number 3. There's no actual Demonic Consultation in Legacy. That card is banned. Awful Strix. Disappointing. Yeah, maybe I'm supposed to shuffle those lands last turn off the Ponder because they're unlikely. Okay. Well, now I'm rewarded. Now I get to not only keep my Endurance, but deploy it. Get Savannah and Trop here and play the Endurance. And I'm not going to target my opponent with this. I'm actually going to target myself. Because if my opponent exiles their deck, they will need cards in their graveyard for the Endurance to work. Alright, well, I'm all in. Birds of Paradise get in for 2. See if they want to trade tricks for this. I got the small trade. Endurance gets to start crunching for 5s starting this turn, unless I just lose right now. But Divining Witch doesn't have haste. Tricks, yep. Makes sense. And Dark Confidant. Tropical Island, not great. I'll attack with a Hierarch. It's too big for Bob to block it. And I'm going to keep Endurance back, angling with this Strix forever. And I'm not going to play this land, both because I'm a Brainstorm deck and because they've seen Spell Pierce out of me. Underground Sea flipped off of Bob. Brainstorm. Yeah, they're doing a lot better than I am here. The Strix is stabilizing against the Endurance. This deck is really cool. Either Vial. Okay. I'm getting a draw step. Good one. I'm going to send the Noble Hierarch in again. Just keep challenging their life total. The chip shots could add up versus Dark Confidant. I'll play my land out now. I have a real spell. I have nothing to bluff. They haven't shuffled off their Brainstorm, which means they know what Bob is going to flip. Okay, now they fetched. Probably shuffled away that land. Now Bob is flipping Wild, and it hit a 0. Greatness at no cost at all. Ponder. Played their island. There's Malevolent Hermit. I have lots of mana to pay for that thing. It is a good blocker, though. No, not really. It chump blocks, then comes back in terms of good blocking. Keep attacking. This attack means I can't force and plow, but I can't force anyway with the Hermit around. Finally got a trade with the Strix. They have resolved a Ponder, so they know what this Bob is flipping, and it's the 4th Underground Sea, which means I was right that they shuffled it away earlier. Now, either Vial's in the mix. They could just Vial in a Strix and punish Endurance, but if they Vial in Strix, it means they're not Vialing in. Okay, if they have Oracle in their hand, they just win. Guess I have to take the move that I have here. Yeah, they just win if they have Oracle in hand. And there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah, they hermited my force. Alright, here you have it. Not yet. I don't know if that means anything. Another land. Just keep them coming. Endurance can attack here. They can exile cards to prevent damage. That's the thing Thought-Lash just does. And that is what they're doing. Starting to delete cards. The second they find Oracle, they win. But, right, they just exiled one. One down. I'm just going to pass the turn and hope that this fair, naked Thought-Lash doesn't get there. Bob revealed Underground Sea, or Watery Grave. Continued to take 0 damage off this Bob at any point. Oh, wow, not even using the Aether Vial. No respect at all. They're just like, fuck you, buddy. I'll cast it. They must have 2 or another answer. All right, this is going to work. I have no outs to this. Even if they stop, they can just exile more cards in response. GG. That was a really cool deck. And I drew a lot of mana sources and very little action. That might be part of my deck, but no initiative creature. I did draw a lot of interaction, actually, with the Forces, the Plows, the Spell Purists. Their deck is just really good at punching through it. Okay. GG. Awesome deck.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7-Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7-Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7-Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7-Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the play in round 2. I have a preordained to kick the game off some Scryb Rangers. Let's do it. Force back up. Be a lot better if one of these Scryb Rangers was a mana dork, but I'm going to play the hand I have. I'm going to put both of these on top, and I'm going to draw the Ponder. That gives me extra blue card for force I can make decisions with. If they're a wasteland deck, I'm not going to miss a land drop here. We have traders. Lotus Petal. We appear to be in an initiative mirror. This makes things cost 2 more, so I can still force next turn or Scryb next turn. Or I could just force this now. Yeah, that sounds reasonable. I'm going to chuck the Brainstorm. I think this is going to be more of a Ponder hand than a Brainstorm hand. If they White Plume Adventure next turn, I can Scryb Ranger, take the initiative, and be in business. I'm just going to leave up Ranger and pass. Flash flying creatures in this economy are pretty exciting. Okay, White Plume Adventurer. To search for a Plains. If they have Solitude in hand and the Fortitude to pitch for it, then they get to keep the initiative. But Flash Flyer, let's go. Bang. There is a pause in the end step. They're either deciding what to pitch to Solitude or thinking about their life choices in the face of this flying creature. I suspect it's a Solitude. Yeah, there we go. Pitching Seasoned Dungeoneer. Got me. Drawing my own White Plume Adventurer would be an answer here. Adventurer. Or just, you know, a third Scryb Ranger. Ponder. Derevi, Birds of Paradise. Don't want Derevi. I might want this Ponder. Don't shuffle, play Verdant Catacombs, and send it. Now they don't have to Solitude anymore. They are going into the Lost Well. That's interesting. They're not counting on this White Plume Adventure to get the job done. It's entirely possible I should have played this game a lot slower. Like, let the Elite Spellbinder resolve. Let it kick Force of Will out of my hand. I'm on the play, so I have 2 mana to force the White Plume Adventure. Take 3. If they don't play the adventure on turn 2, I can flash in Scryb Ranger, which can beat the Elite in combat. Yeah, I should have been more patient this game. Just thought I could get them, but they had the Solitude. They always have the Solitude. They bottomed both on that Scry too. Give me more of that. There's the planes they tutored. 3 damage, coming in hot. Special delivery for my face. End of turn. Jamming a Scryb Ranger. Please don't have another answer. Another Solitude. Okay. I mean, that did at least cost 2 more cards. They continue to move through the dungeon, but they're in the slow dungeon. Yeah, they didn't go through the murder dungeon, and now they're running out of gas, I hope. Ho, 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 ho. You said initiative, but I said initiative too. All right, I'll just take it the hard way. My initiative, I get to tutor up the basic island, which is a recent addition to this deck, which I can cast Ponder with. I can shuffle away these 3 lands. Shuffle and hit a land anyway. Okay. All right, opponent. Your move. I will happily trade these off and keep the initiative if that is available to me. Oh, they drew land number 3. That's scary. Shit. They zapped it in. What does that mean? Probably that they have another adventurer. I'm still just obviously going to block, though. Ooh, I Ganjo. Well, that's fine. I still have the initiative. I go into Lost Well, and if I find Stasis, I just win. Oh, right. That's not true, because they have the untap ability. Tilt. There's both of them. Okay. What do I need to do about this? My opponent is Hellbent. I think I need to spend a turn deploying my pals here. Put Stasis on top with White Plume on top of that. And now at least I'm ready to block. And I go into the stash. Or should I goad? No, I'm going into the stash. Goading doesn't actually really do anything. And next turn I get a Spooky Skeleton. Just need them not to draw a removal spell right now. Brachus, that doesn't do it. You even attack if you don't have the Iganjo backup. I mean, probably. I would rather play a game where nobody has White Plume Adventure. Yeah, this attack's not getting better for you. You might as well make it block. I'm going to end step a Scryb Ranger, and I don't actually even cast the Stasis here because they don't have any tapped permanents, and they're not going to this turn cycle. Yeah, that doesn't even do anything. It just starts picking down my Stasis faster. They've had enough. Out initiative to the initiative deck with Stasis backup if I needed it. Okay, against initiative, I like Swords to Plowshares. And I think that's it. Spell Pierce is not very good against anything that I saw. I like Ranger. Exploration's actually cool in this matchup, but it might get the cut just because it's wonky. Derevi gets bounced by Caracas, but if we're in a Derevi situation, maybe I don't care about that. Derevi's blue for force, which I always care about. I think Exploration, and it's either a Derevi or a Teferi, and I think Teferi's better. So Derevi, you're out. Do it. I have a turn 2 White Plume with force backup. That sounds good. This. And we're both decks that can accelerate the initiative, but my deck has counterspells in it. Their deck is more focused in its purpose, though. Not sure who comes out ahead in that exchange, but I like that they are taking a mulligan while they're on the play, just running them out of cards. If the game is still remotely in reach when they run out of cards, then it's interesting, but as long as they can keep deploying re-initiatives or deploy Solitudes, it gets harder. Oh, they had to put a Solitude under Chrome Mox, like that. I zapped in Emeria. Alice on 1. I mean, I am a brainstorm deck, but I could also just play this White Plume Adventurer. I'm going to let that resolve. They're down to 2 cards in their hand. If they're a land initiative creature, I'm happy with that deal. I just need to draw a 3rd land before it's too late. Oh, shit. Perfectly juked me. Yeah, I fell for that one. You got me. I'm a sucker. Yeah, I guess if I force the Chalice, lead on Noble Hierarch, I can take back the initiative anyway, with multiple creatures in play. Alright, well, you get to bash, then I take the initiative. See if they go into Forge this time. Probably should. Going into Lostwell, I think, cost them last game. I just had infinite time to figure it out. Yeah, they're just in Forge. I don't think I even play an answer to Chalice. No, there's no Brazen Borrower, nothing of the sort. Their creature's bigger than mine. I don't think I can do this. Alright, I'm just going to concede. We can save time here. I fucked that one up. Both, like, I was betting they didn't have Cavern, but also, even if they do, countering Chalice is just the correct play there. That didn't make any sense. Lesson learned. Okay, I still don't want Spell Pierce in the deck just in case they have Chalice. That's more 1-drops, not less. I'm going in. Same deck. Okay, I'll keep this. And I'm going to lead on Birds of Paradise. Okay, Birds of Paradise getting in there. And send it. I have Mana Dork plus Scryb Ranger for the first time so far in the league. I do wish this Birds of Paradise was Noble Hierarch. If they just turn 1 initiative creature, plow, take it back is a line, but not currently. Not with the creature I have. Opponent went to 6 again this game, but we saw last game what they can do with 6 cards. Ooh, just pitching Solitude. Aggro, take out the Birds of Paradise. Solitude pitching Palace Jailer. Okay. And pass the turn without a land? What the hell is going on over there? I'm not mad about it, though. This is a deal. I'm going to fetch for Savannah and play Preordain. That Force Wheel doesn't have a blue card to go with it. In that case, I don't want it. I'm actually going to bottom both of these. I'm looking for action. And I'm playing Noble Hierarch with my Savannah. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. Chrome Mox. It's crazy. Exiled Seasoned Dungeoneer. Oh god. Lotus Petal. Well, they're down to 1 card. If this is Palace Jailer, that's kind of a beating. Did you start with 2 of those? Alright, Seasoned Dungeoneer. I can, because they didn't turn 1 this thing, I can now do the play that I described I wish I could do. I can plow, take the initiative, and we're in business. And they are hellbent against it. Swords to Plowshares, your creature. And take the initiative. Thank you, Exalted. Thank you, deck, for giving me the things in the order that I didn't know I wanted them. And they've had enough. Beat the normal initiative with our weird initiative. And that's 1 on the scoreboard. We've already matched Phil's League. Let's go. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and every other format you'll see on this channel. They have multiple customizations so you can view your deck how you want. Text view, stacks, grid, custom grouping by type, subtype, color, light mode, dark mode. However you want to see your deck, they can provide it for you. My favorite feature is you can choose your set printing, make the deck look exactly how you want it to. The deck screen features expandable sections that show you what tokens your deck makes, your recent change history to the deck, stats about mana curve and opening hand distribution, mana cost distribution. You can deal out sample hands and even play test the deck. Island Ponder. You know I'm keeping this one. This site has everything. Follow me on Moxfield.com to keep up with decks I'm playing for the channel and what I'm up to in paper. I'll see you there. On the draw in round 3, I'm into this hand. It has Force Blue card and it has the 1 of Exploration with a Ranger. Do some of this, whatever this is. Ancient Tomb, Painter's Servant. Life is usually better without that card in play. They could Spirit Guide Pyroblast me here, but it's fine. Alright, had to work through those resources somewhere. And things are painted blue. Area who slows the sunset. Exploration. Misty Rainforest. Pass the turn. Goblin Welder. Okay. Now I have a real choice to make of if I want to brainstorm in the end step and try to supercharge what I'm doing. If I hit land, I can start doing Teferi stuff. Or do I want my brainstorm to be full value and try to really get something going here? I think I want a full value brainstorm. Oh, cool. I might get both. Brainstorm, go. Scryb Ranger is part of the plan. Noble Hierarch and Scryb Ranger is worth a zillion mana. I can cast Scryb Ranger and still cast Preordain this turn. Maybe the Hierarch is just too slow here. And the Brainstorm, because if I find Stasis, I'm going to need Teferi to go with it. Or I could just use Brainstorm and Preordain to make this hand more functional. Now I'm going for the Stasis. And my first land, fetch for Trop. Scryb Ranger. Gonna Scryb Ranger untap itself. Oh, it has protection from blue. That's so fucking funny. It can't untap itself. All right, I'll untap Goblin Welder. And Birds of Paradise Forest. Bottom nose. Found another Savannah. Well, Painter Servant can block everything. And they can't Red Blast it because Red Blast is blue. That's really funny. I might just die to Grindstone right now, but at least we had a fun moment with Scryb Ranger. Cursed Mirror. Enters the battlefield. You may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it has haste. Okay. It's a Scryb Ranger. I don't think that does anything except attack. Yeah, it doesn't even do that. Okay, deck. Let's get something going, please. Not quite what I was talking about. The top 3 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, the rest on the bottom. Okay. There is text on Teferi, so it might not be worth activating. I go down to 2, or they could just Pyroblast, and it doesn't matter. They do have the red available off the Cursed Mirror. Teferi's in there. Minus is just Anticipate, which might be what I need here, honestly. It does open up Lightning Bolt. But tapping and untapping cards doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm just going to take my Impulse, or my Anticipate, it's not even Impulse, and then lose my Teferi to Lightning Bolt. Yeah, that's fine. White Plume Adventure, now we're cooking. Put that one in my hand. Other one's on the bottom. And I'll untap Painter Servant and play Quarian Ranger. Okay, let's see if the initiative can win the game before they draw Grindstone. Second Goblin Welder, okay. Third Goblin Welder. They are now Hellbent, but they can take the initiative if they attack with everything. They lose everything. Oh, now they don't even get the initiative. That's good shit. White Plume Adventure. In. I now have the initiative. The Undercity is blue. Good stuff. I'll play out my cards. And because Scryb Ranger can't untap itself, I actually can't attack here. I'm gonna pass and hope they don't draw Grindstone or... Oh, shit. Man, I missed 2 damage. I always forget White Plume Adventurer does that in non-combo situations too. It's rereading Cursed Mirror, making sure it can't randomly become a creature. Looks like it can't. They lose most of their board if they attack. I don't think they can do that. Cool. I'll remember to attack this time. I can go for Forge and try to get the game over, or I could go for Lost Well and try to lock it down. I think I'm going Forge. This didn't even make sense, because Scryb Ranger still has protection from blue, and the Undercity apparently is a card that is blue. That's annoying. Okay. White Plume Adventurer, gas up, big guy. Start taking chunks. Coming for you. Okay, they just took the 6. And Birds of Paradise, get in there. Adventurer untaps itself. They're passing the turn. Oh, I'm going for the trap. You're 5. You're going to have to start blocking now. And I have a 5/5 on the ground and my 1 in the air. If I had remembered to attack earlier with White Plume's ability, I would have more mana, or they would have lower life total currently than they do. They would be at 2, and then they couldn't tap Ancient Tomb. Yeah, if they tap Ancient Tomb to win this game, that's entirely on me. They don't need Ancient Tomb. They do have 4 mana without it. The one where I get to draw a card. Hierarch and Derevi. Interesting. Derevi can tap something on arrival. I could tap one of the Goblin Welders, but that's what they're going to do anyway. I could tap Painter to make sure they lose a Goblin Welder. Okay, green, white, blue. Here's Derevi. I'll tap Painter. And no need to Hierarch now. Or I can attack with Quirion Ranger now. Push some extra damage through. Okay. Everybody with power and toughness is attacking. Okay, they're empty on Goblin Welders. Derevi does trigger. Sure, I'll untap this Tropical Island. Not that it matters. Untap White Plume Adventurer, play my land, play Noble Hierarch, and pass the turn. It would be at 1 if I had attacked correctly earlier. They might be dead, actually, if I had had a larger exalted attack over the top. Okay. Yeah, I missed one really important attack here, and it gave them an extra draw step. I didn't find it, though. Never punished. Leaves Swords to Plowshares, Endurance Collector Oof, maybe even Energy Flux. And Energy Flux is a blue card, just all natural. This is more for 8 than it is for this. That was a really cool exploration game, as I now board out exploration. And this is a deck with 7 Pyroblasts in it. I could just go on a shave all my blue cards type adventure, but Stasis is a very important blue card, and the fewer blue cards in my deck, the more likely they're going to blast my Stasis. I could just not even Stasis and pivot into this awkward tempo deck with removal spells and Null Rod. I could cut both to fairies, leave 1 Stasis in. I do like Spell Pierce quite a bit. Yeah, this is just tempo deck now. A tempo initiative, Bant initiative. I think that might be the right way to do this, though, because, like I said, they just have 7 Pyroblasts in their deck. Rest in Peace is awkward because I want Endurance to save myself from Grindstone, and Endurance doubles as Graveyard Hate against their Goblin Welders, where Rest in Peace shuts their Welders down completely, but also shuts down Endurance as a save myself option. Right, I'm gonna just do the Endurances. Bant initiative, let's go. I drew the one of Stasis, too easy. I'm keeping Ancient Tomb, Painter, just, yep, you got it. In there. Painted everything blue, which is good because I drew Force of Will. Now I can pitch lands to it. And I'm going to drop this Noble Hierarch. Table of the Mirror Breaker. Do I want to play against this card? Probably not. Actually, it looks really good. I'm going to force pitching Birds of Paradise. I think my lands will make more sense than my bird long term. And they're beginning the beatdowns. I'm winning the race thanks to Ancient Tomb. Tropical Island, get in there and crack back. I don't need to hold up Endurance because I can do that in my upkeep. This Saga will eventually be a Grindstone. All these lands are a tough beat. I'll attack now. Probably the last time I'm going to get to do that. Now I have an interesting choice of I could jump the Endurance in, ambush the Painter. Yeah, I'm going to do that. If they have a Pyroblast for Endurance, then they're going to have Pyroblast for Endurance anyway. Just get them in there. Maybe I'll get free lunch. I'm going to target nobody with this. Nobody's got graveyards I care about currently. Okay, they do have Pyroblast. It's always going to happen. But now Stasis has an opportunity to win the game. Not like that, it doesn't. Okay, they could just tutor up Grindstone and activate it without untapping anything, so Stasis doesn't actually have a chance to win the game. Basically need them to fuck up somehow. Alright, I'll give you the chance to fuck up. Here's my Stasis. I cannot stress enough, doesn't matter. They make a construct, that's the fuck up I'm looking for. Right. They knew better, they could count to 3. It's not fair when my opponents can just do basic arithmetic. Okay, I'm out of here. You did it. Maybe I do want Energy Flux. Might be better than the Stasis. Get it, they have Pyroblast, but if one of these things is going to slide through a Pyroblast, I guess I'd prefer it to be the Flux. And let's go. Come on, initiative cards. Not initiative cards. I do have acceleration and cantripping though. If my opponent continues to be good at turn 1 Painter. Mountain Go. This could be Pyroblast on a Ponder, which, you know, got more of those, and I got scarier things to Pyroblast. The White Plume is here. Don't shuffle that. And I'm just going to land go here. I can Scryb Ranger if they don't do anything. I can Plow if I need to do that. So Kenzan and Goblin Welder. I am going to Plow the Welder. Have enough respect for that. And I'm going to fetch for Sick Forest. Sometimes they have Magus in the Moon, and I'm just not interested in that happening to me. I'm going to play the Verdant Catacombs because that represents Plow, even if it gives away information. You get the island, make sure I'm set up against a Magus if they do that. But Birds of Paradise is helpful there too. Untap my bird, which I totally would have remembered in Paper Magic. Interservant resolves. Pyroblast. Towards the Plowshares. Oh, we got the max blowout. Countered their spell and removed their good card. Powerful shit. Lost Well or Forge? I think it's Lost Well, actually. Bottom, the Trop. I'll put a Force on top. And I can Ponder for free off of this Birds of Paradise. Oh, wow. Back into the initiative. Maybe next turn. I'm going to put Preordain in my hand for now, which gives me Force Blue card. I want to take some damage, and I get to untap Birds of Paradise. Aga, okay. Goblin Engineer. Not going to try to force that into Painter. Bummer. My next card down is the other White Plume Adventure. Scryb too, so I could go stash Catacombs all this turn. And they win next turn if they have double Engineer. Okay, I'm going to go for the hard cast force rather than try to speedrun the dungeon. Put that to bed. Get a treasure. I'm not going to try to goad the Engineer. So that might actually do something. Preordain. Another Swords of Plowshares. Keep them coming. Attack my opponent. Play Savannah and pass the turn. I'm going to untap Bird. Try to lull them into attacking me with Engineer. They don't know I can untap with Scryb Ranger. Able, you got it. Come on, attack me with Engineer, you coward. They've seen Endurance. No way they're going to attack. Oh my god. Alright, Scryb Ranger. Jump in there. Untap my White Plume Adventurer. And block. 3/3 is bigger than 1/2. And I'll go to my turn. I get a Spooky Skeleton. I get to draw a card. It's Endurance this time. Play the land they know about. They can make a 1/1 Construct token. That's not very good. I'm going to attack with my 3/3 and my 1/1 flyer. I'm going to go for a double block here. I'll take it. I don't even think that's good. Okay, they agree. And I don't need to do anything else right now. Now untap White Plume to itself. You get to do Fable stuff. Because they lost their Engineer last turn, I don't need to worry about Painter. Endurance can clear the graveyard if it needs to, and Plow backing up all of it. And I'm about to enter the Throne of the Dead 3. I have 4 blockers to their 2 attackers. Not even worried about Shadow Spear. Rhinestone. First Mirror. Oh, this enters as a copy. They probably want to take the initiative here. Can I take it back effectively? It also has haste. All right. Get the initiative and you get to attack if you want to. That's all right. I can get it back next turn. I have flyers. They don't. Their only card in hand is Basic Mountain, which I know. Attacking with the 3/3 haste and the 2/1 Goblin. Those attacks make the constructs larger. Got Endurance. I am going to target their graveyard. They have enough going on in there that it might matter. Go to blocks, block the 2/2 with my 3/3, block the 3/3 with my 3/4. Fundamental magic, folks. And I can allow a construct in the end step. Do I even need to do that? I'm going to. Let them know I'm really coming in here. Their endurance is good. I'm going to attack with my menace creature and my flyer. I don't need to offer a trade or a chump. I get the initiative. I enter the throne. Let's see that collector roof come out of the throne. No collector roof. There is a seasoned dungeoneer though. That one's pretty good. Back into the dungeon we go. A forest. Play the forest, and in their upkeep, all of my cards are going to untap now. I have endurance that can protect myself if they just rip Painter. And they are looking pretty dead zoes, even if they don't. All right, good match. We've already beat Phil, 2-1. Let's keep it rolling. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the play with a hand that's kind of awkward, but it's got Brainstorm in interaction, so I'm in. Misty Rainforest and send it. I'd rather hold up Spell Pierce in the dark in Legacy than out Aquarian Ranger. Balding Tarn. Underground Sea. I'm not going to Spell Pierce this Ponder. I'm not that hungry for it. And Underground Sea Ponder, I feel like Spell Pierce is going to be more helpful later. Didn't shuffle a Ponder. Ooh, a second Spell Pierce. Let's party. I hope they go for Doomsday this turn. Watery Grave. Baleful Strix. I hate you so much. A Watery Grave, Baleful Strix. I think this is probably Doomsday. Going deep enough to play Watery Grave is either a deck that just wants 5 Underground Seas, or a deck that wants to reduce its life total, and Death Shadow generally doesn't play Baleful Strix. I can get rid of one of these Stasis for sure, and one of the Teferis. And I'm going to fetch for another drop on land. Didn't get the land, that's okay. I can play Aquarian Ranger, and it can untap itself by picking up the land I was about to miss my land drop with. And Tropical Island and Noble Hierarch. My opponent is in check right now. Whether they know it or not remains to be seen. But I have the engine that keeps Stasis alive forever, backed by Spell Pierce, if I'm not dead this turn. I hope they just play another Baleful Strix, or do some cantrips and send it. The Ponder. They chose to shuffle. Good news for me, I hope. Another Ponder. Yeah, just give me the turn back with my 2 Spell Pierces up. Don't Thoughtseize me. Don't go for a protected Doomsday. You could go for an unprotected Doomsday. Second Watery Grave. Weird. Thoughtseize shit. Don't do this to me. Okay. Please resolve. Spell Pierce resolves. Don't daze me. Put Thoughtseize in your graveyard, please. Okay. Pass the turn. Pass the turn. No! Oh, they are Death Shadow with Grief. Okay. They were right to go in this hard on this, because they do recognize they're in check, it seems. Maybe I did need that other Stasis that I shuffled away. Okay, I guess they're just Death Shadow with Grief in there. I'm much happier with that than I am with Doomsday. They took Spell Pierce. Did they have Snuff Out to break up my protection? Is that what they're doing? Because every card in my hand and every card in play combos with Stasis. Oh, I mean, let's see. I'll make blue. I'll untap Noble Hierarch, play my land, and then play Stasis. How'd we do? They have Force of Will, pitching Baleful Strix. I could Brainstorm and try to shut it down. I think that is the play. I'll use a land to do that. Come on, Force of Will. Oh my god. I'll put Teferi and Derevi on top. Do I need this land? Not gonna hurt. Okay. Teferi and Derevi on top, and I'll force pitching Force. Did we get there? Yeah! They fucked around and found out. They should have just taken the Stasis. Okay. Swords to Plowshares coming in. I think that's it. They are probably a Wasteland deck, which makes my Scryb Rangers extra good and my Mana Dorks extra good. Exploration's actually really solid in this matchup. Derevi, Seasoned Dungeoneer, one of the Teferis, just sort of trimming at the top end. But also cut a Force of Will. It's good at shoving my Stasis through, but it's not how I want to play this matchup otherwise. The Spell Pierce was really good, though. Would I rather have Seasoned Dungeoneer than Derevi? Do I think I can outmuscle this deck? Because this deck is built on muscle and removal spells. I don't want to play normal Magic against them. They're built for that. I'm going to try it like this. I have the fun of exploration. Into a turn 2 White Plume. Keep. Ponder. You got it. They are a daze deck, but if they don't daze exploration, they're never dazing anything. Exploration. Ticket. Let's go. Resolves. Resolves. In there. And I'm going to ponder off of a basic island. I'm not going to do all this work for turn 2 White Plume just to get Wastelanded out from under me. That's an extra blue card for Force and a second land drop for next turn. Cool. Let's party. And they are just passing the turn, it looks like, with their 2 mana. I can force my White Plume through. I'm already playing around daze. Take 2 land drops here. A white. And let's take the initiative. We are in there on the initiative. I could brainstorm now and use the initiative as a shuffle, but my hand is actually already fine. I want to brainstorm after I get the land, because the land's probably the card I'm going to shuffle away with brainstorm. Exploration's not a mana dork, but sure looks like one sometimes. Snuff Out's fine. I don't care if that creature's in play. Another ponder. I will force most creatures here, because I'm not ready to answer a creature. And as long as I keep the initiative, we're doing fine. If I lose the initiative, we're not doing fine. Reanimate my White Plume Adventurer. That's a no from me, dog. Force pitching to Fairy. Daze. I guess I'll fetch. Gonna daze me twice. I'll double up on white. Oh, this is not much blue. Maybe I should have gotten a blue one there. Okay, daze has been paid for. They do have the double daze. Can't pay for the second one. And now you have the initiative. Brainstorm's gonna have to save me here. This is a little scary. Let's see if they even play a basic. Did we see one game 1? All right, failed to find. Oh no! They had their land drop left over. All right, this game just flipped. Probably dead now. Scryb Ranger. Brainstorm. Put back the forest like I said I would, and Birds of Paradise can go. I'm going to get a tropical island and cast my ponder here. Ponder. I'm going to shuffle that. Noble Hierarch's not what I need. Shuffle the library. Swords to Plowshares. What's up? I think I'm going to wait. I'm playing into days if I wait. I know one of their cards. Let's just see if they forge. I still have a land drop. I could Scryb Ranger and then pick up a land, replay it, but then they know they have to play around a surprise attacker. They're going into Lost Well. I'm just going to plow the Shadow now. If they had gone into Forge, I would have had some options. I guess I should have let Lost Well resolve first. Questionable Magic being played all over the place here. Here's the sea we knew about. Thought sees me. Get it in. Oh. Well, I can still attack through that. That's kind of the point of Scryb Ranger. Please don't have a third daze. Could have played around it, but I did this instead. And we're in there. To untap your White Plume, that doesn't matter. Draw Noble Hierarch. That's not bad. That's an extra damage. Please don't have Snuff Out. Back for 2. Okay, Scryb did its job. I have the initiative again. And I think I have to Lost Well. If I forge onto Scryb Ranger, it still dies to black removal. Yeah, Lost Well is just the play. Try to bottom both of those. In main, untap Scryb Ranger with my forest and play my forest. I am currently maintaining the initiative for another turn. If nothing else changes, I can chump block and protection block, which I am going to do. Puts me into the stash, which is probably not helpful. I need a removal spell. Oh, I really need a Swords to Plowshares now. Can kill, basically invalidate their whole board. Okay, Thoughtseize just to grow the shadow. Come on, deck. Help me out here. Going into the stash. Come on, good cards. Might be. Brainstorm time. Oh, I should have bounced a land. Shit. Okay. What does this do? I can play Stasis and Quirion Ranger, which the White Plume didn't untap itself. Unclear why. Because Murktide can't block anyway. If I Stasis and Quirion Ranger this turn. Oh, I can't do both. I have to Stasis this turn? That's not enough. Fuck. Not bouncing my land before I brainstormed is going to cost me this game. Because I would have one extra card to put back when I don't need lands in play. Loosey-goosey. Alright, I'm going to put back Quirion Ranger and Stasis. I'll try to Stasis next turn. Attacking just makes Death Shadow bigger, which is that important to me. And Stasis also kills them faster. I have blocks with White Plume, Skeleton, and Scryb Ranger. Alright, White Plume, get myself a Skeleton. And I'm going to attack... Skeleton currently trades with Death Shadow. Like, I can currently trade with their whole board. Like, trade off with White Plume, trade off with Shadow. If I do that, then we kill them somehow. But a fetch land breaks that up. Okay, I'm going to push for damage. Because Stasis kills all these creatures effectively anyway. And I can still trade with the White Plume. So tilted I missed the pre-brainstorm situation. I was going to get to untap that creature anyway, but having mana untapped is nice. Okay, no removal spells, please. Okay, left, black, white, Plume Adventurer, block, and do I double block? Or do I just leave all my creatures? Well, I can't leave all my creatures in play. I'm going into the throne. Oh, right, that's going to clear the Stasis. God damn it. This is so hard. This deck is so hard. Okay, I get to go into the throne, which is nice, but yeah, not picking up that land is even worse than I remember. Okay. I need a creature that can beat White Plume Adventurer. I know there's a Noble Hierarch under there somewhere. Revi or White Plume #2. White Plume is the one that's big enough to tangle with their White Plume, so that's just the answer. Oh, right. Hexproof. Shit. There's so many words on the initiative. Does anyone actually know what this does? Oh, good. I drew Stasis anyway. Get wrecked, nerds. I'll attack with my Scribby. And second main, float green, untap this. Make a land drop, and play Stasis. I'm not sure who this hurts more. Kind of close, but yeah, I have Scryb Ranger and Exploration. They find a black removal spell to clear Scribby. I'm in trouble, but otherwise I'm just stable and ahead. Okay. Now the real hero's choice begins, which is, do I want to put 2 counters on Scryb Ranger and make this clock faster, or dig deeper and try to get the hooks in? I'm going into Trap. Well, Trap next turn, but I'm going into Forge this turn, then Trap kills them the next time I have the initiative. Forge onto the Scryb. I get to draw. Spell Pierce. That's pretty good when Stasis is in play. Attack you with Scryb Ranger. If this connects, then Snuff Out is off. We're in there. And then let's do the thing the deck does. Pick up this Tropical Island, which pays for Stasis. If they draw Wasteland, I still have a treasure left over to keep it around one more turn, which is all I need. They're dead to Trap if they don't attack. They can't Snuff Out now. Scryb Ranger versus Murktide Regent. You saw it here first. Buy your copies now. Let's fucking go. 3-1. Phil, what are you even doing over there? For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play in the final round with kind of a heater. We're 1 untap effect away from the lock. I'm going to keep. And I'm going to Savannah, Exploration, drop Noble Hierarch. Holy shit. Busted. My opponent, if they're familiar with my work, should already know what's going on. They said they like the podcast. I don't know if that means they watch the channel too. To be determined. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Okay. Come on, untap effect. Give me a Ranger. Preordain. Not over yet. Preordain. Oh, I have a Ranger. Okay, what does this mean? In bottom the forest, Drop the Ranger. Are they going to daze Ranger if I cast it? Maybe. I'll force if they do that. Maybe they won't respect it, or maybe they just don't have daze. We're in there. Untap Noble Hierarch. Bounce Tropical Island to do it. Tropical Island, and I can Stasis here. If they Lightning Bolt Noble Hierarch, the jig is up. After that, I'm just set. I could also just pass with Spell Pierce up for a turn cycle. Yeah, I'm going to give this some room to breathe. I don't need to get crazy here when I could Spell Pierce to protect my Noble if I just wait. A crack and a fetch. Oh, your rug. This is fun. Armagoyf. I don't care about that at all. And passing the turn. Show me potato salad here. Brainstorm. You know, I got mana to work with here. I'm going to start with Brainstorm. Do I even need to do that, though? My hand is just already gas. I'm basically just looking for Brainstorm to be a different card. Okay. Blue, colorless, untap these creatures. Play my land. Just get miles ahead of days here. And play Stasis. With Spell Pierce and Force of Will backup. Okay, we got the unexpected in the chat. So they were not familiar with the work. Now they've learned. I get an untap on their turn and an untap on my turn. Could attack with Scribbies. I get 2 land drops. Yeah, I'm going to start making damage happen. I have attacks here. They don't. They could break out of this. Just try not to let them. I'm insulated from Wasteland with the Scribby. They need to kill Tropical Island and Noble Hierarch in the same, on their turn, on the same turn to get out of this. Okay. In the end step, I'm going to untap the Scryb Ranger. But first, I'm going to float white, make them think I have white cards in my deck. Okay, go to my turn, pay for Stasis with land. If I never have to tap Hierarch, then I get to poke with Scribs for free. I need to worry about them getting Delirium here at instant speed. I don't think they can do it from here from one card type. At least not in a way that is reliable enough to risk their 1 mana source for it. Okay, then untap the Scribs and use my other land drop. This is going well. This might be the nuttiest showcase of the deck yet. Still a lot of game to play. I'm not exactly smashing for damage here. Brainstorm is finally good, though. Alright, I'll just take damage from Tarmogoyf. I don't give a shit. That's frozen forever now. Rather that happen now before I have the initiative. And I can Brainstorm in the end step. Or I could wait. Yeah, I'll just wait. What's the rush? Keep up Force blue card. Okay, for Stasis. And now they're getting kind of close enough where I have to think about the possibility of getting Delirium. So I will Brainstorm now. And put back these extra Savannas. Or I guess I could put back Basic Island. I'm not worried about Wasteland here. Untap Noble Hierarch. Tropical Island, Savannah. And now that I have a million Scribs, I can attack and don't mind if they do get Delirium. I've used both land drops, so I can't get a Scribby in now. Alright, we're getting a fetch in the end step. And we're petty thefting Stasis. I'm going to let you surveil. And then I'm going to Spell Pierce. If they have force backup for this, then we play a turn. Okay. So they have a non-delirious Dragon's Rage Channeler versus the complete might of my army. If DRC gets Delirium, it has to attack and then it's tapped. And then we just get to run Roughshod. Okay, it's going to have Delirium. It's a deal. Now it has to fight. I'm at 15 and I get to bash with impunity. And they chose to shuffle off Ponder. In the end step, flash in a Scryb. And untap my Hierarch with the Tropical Island. Alright, they've had enough. That was awesome. I think I want Swords to Plowshares and Endurance against Delver. Plow and Endurance. They didn't see any initiative stuff. They just saw the tappy business. I'm going to shave the non-stasis objects that are soft to Pyroblast. I might even shave a stasis, actually. And got to cut 4 more cards here. Derevi, Teferi. I think I just want to be Bant Initiative. for the most part. I'll leave some Stasis in, but I don't need all of them. A Force of Will's medium. So Force of Will, if I'm being Bant initiative, might be important. I think Quirion Ranger isn't really worth a slot if I'm not really dedicated to the grind here. 3 Stasis still in the deck, 3 Force of Will, and otherwise I'm almost Selesnya initiative. Selesnya initiative with cantrips. Oh, Rest in Peace. Wow, they're a Tarmogoyf deck. It's been a while. It's been 84 years. Okay, so Tarmogoyf, Dragon's Rage Channel, or presumably, probably... Oh, Minsk and Boo is probably in this deck? Ugh. Okay. I can't go too hot in any direction in that case. I'm not going any lower in Force. I think go down to 2 Stasis. I'm a deck with 9 cantrips. I'll find one if I need it, and I don't want it if I don't need it. I could shave a bird if we're getting this low. Or Exploration. I'm down to 4 Rangers. Okay. I'll do it like this. A dramatic transformation. They probably just piled up on any number of Pyroblasts that they have, and I boarded out most of my high impact blue cards, unless they want to start zapping cantrips. I think this hand is fine. I'm not thrilled with it, but it's fine. Tropical Island, go. Anytime I see Rug Delver, I suspect Stifle, which might be just some old man shit, but I'm still going to play around it. I would have liked to fetch for basic Forest there and just be Wasteland proof, but Birds of Paradise also is resistant against Wasteland. Instep Brainstorm, okay. And I can protect a Rest in Peace with Spell Pierce next turn. Got a land, if that's what they were looking for with Brainstorm, they found it. I don't really need to Rest in Peace yet. I could ponder and see what shakes loose. Oh, I'm not going to run that into Daze, but it's exciting for the future. I ponder. Ooh, that's a lot of gas. I could go land Noble Hierarch this turn and just load up for the future. They have so much mana, be so far ahead of Wasteland and Daze that that's never part of the game again. Okay, Endurance, Preordain above it, and Noble Hierarch. Play my basic and play my Hierarch. Still playing around Stifle. And they did not fetch. They ended up keeping both cards with Brainstorm. Almost like they didn't even cast it. Up to 3 lands here. Fury. That thing sucks. Okay. Can't Spell Pierce that. Fury pitching Unholy Heat. Got it. I wonder if they have a Stifle to keep their Fury around. That would be savage. Alright, they do not. My mana dinguses are gone. And I'm drawing Preordain. Endurance on top of my deck. I'm not going to cast any spells right now. I'm going to draw Endurance next turn. I think I'm going to use Endurance to test their interaction on their end step next turn, and then untap and go for the White Plume. Ponder is looking for something here. Did not shuffle. I would kind of love to see a Tarmogoyf now. Just put it into play. No shuffle, no land drop. They like what they're doing. I hate when my opponent likes what's going on. I can Spell Pierce a Stifle currently. They're at 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, they were 1 mana away from Murktide Regent that turn. Maybe it is time to go for the Rest in Peace. Grab Savannah. And, well, Endurance also challenges Murktide. And that was my plan anyway. I'll fetch now. I'm going to get another Savannah. Make sure my white is covered. And then I'll go for Endurance on their turn. Yeah, they'll need to crack this fetch to cast Murktide anyway. Currently 4 card types in the graveyard. I'm going to Endurance now before Unholy Heat is on. This sweeps up all 4 cards in the graveyard. A Spell Pierce hits whatever, including Force of Will now, including Stifle. Okay, cool. That's out. Let's hope we just did something. It's hard to know. That's one of those plays that feels good, but maybe didn't do anything and maybe collapsed their entire plan. We may never know. Brainstorm, go for it. We did see Brazen Borrower in game 1. That's a card they have access to. Got to be careful with that if I jam this White Plume, and got to think about my reach and flying blockers. Ponder to follow up the Brainstorm. Usually post-Ponder, or post-Brainstorm Ponders usually shuffle. Unless they find a card they want the 3rd one down. Yep, we got to shuffle. Just have to use a card to do that instead of a fetch land. That's always a beating. Yeah, I believe it's go time on this Rest in Peace. They're currently tap too low to fight through a Spell Pierce. We're in there. Murktide is no longer part of the game. Tarmogoyf's not part of the game. Dragon's Rage Channeler is fully neutered. I'm going to fetch for another Trop and cast Preordain. It might be sitting on Red Blast here. I don't need a second Rip, and I don't think I want Scryb Ranger here either. Ponder's a good one. I'm going to hold up Spell Pierce, though. I don't know what they're going to do, but I got enough mana to do everything on my turn. Aggressive Iteration. I don't think this is my fight on the Spell Pierce. It's tempting, but they have 6 cards in hand. They found Brainstorm off of this. Hey, they're hurting for a land drop here. They have seen 7 cards this turn, though. If there's one anywhere, they've got it. Oh, the old untapped Mystic Sanctuary with no abilities. Love to see it. Okay, I believe it's go time. By White Plume Adventurer now, I'm playing through Force and Daze with the Spell Pierce and the mana up. I'll attack first, though. In case they have Submerge or some card they would cast, I don't know. And let's do it. White Plume Adventurer. We know their hand is 7 spells. Just got to get through them. I don't expect Price of Progress out of this deck. Just trying to think of ways they could cheese me from here. Minsk and Boo is a card I've identified that I'm concerned about, but I'm less concerned if I have a ton of power and toughness in play. Force pitched a Daze. Force of Negation pitched Expressive Iteration. Okay. They win the fight. And I don't think I ponder into Daze now that I've done all this work to play around it. Let's see if they have Minsk and Boo. That's the one card I'm worried about. Just got a 4 for 2, but a big busted Planeswalker could switch that. Yep, there it is. Okay. Well, the race is on, folks. Swords to Plowshares is in my deck. I don't play a Caracas or anything really helpful. There's Swords to Plowshares. Remember that card that's in my deck? It's also in my hand. Scryb Ranger, are you helpful? I mean, I can attack and block if I have Scryb Ranger. Scribs push damage. I think I can do better. I'm going to shuffle this. Mana is not better. It does let me play through Days, though. Oh, right. I could attack the Planeswalker. That barely even occurred to me. That'll stop them from drawing a bunch of cards, but so does Swords to Plowshares. They're on a 3-turn clock. I think I gotta attack the Planeswalker. Okay, the trigger happens. I might as well plow now before they draw a card. Because the hamster's already gone. Or the hamster trigger's already happened. Yeah, I'm just gonna zap this. They'll have nothing to target. I don't need to wait for them to draw another Force of Negation and protect their hamster. They could play just Jump Block Tarmogoyf here. 0-1 in the way. Back up Minsk and Boo. Okay. The second Endurance is going to take them for a ride here. At least I hope it does. You get your 4-4. And you get your beats. In step, I get an Endurance. Target my opponent for the lulls. And oh, I drew a really good card. I can clear Minsk and Boo here, which I have to do because they're now at 16 life because I plowed. And I'm going to White Plume Adventurer and hope they don't have Lightning Bolt, I guess. Get to untap one of these Endurances. I finally remembered how this card works. And I'm actually going to keep this Forest in my hand in case I draw a Brainstorm. Didn't stifle my untap trigger. That's lucky. And I'm planning on a big old double block here. If they can get and keep the initiative through a series of removal spells with this trample creature, that sucks. I think if we smash the initiative back and forth, I'm favored. So they are a deck with red mana. Lightning Bolt is a thing they could have. Channeler. Another Minsk and Boo? Are you shitting me? You've got 3 of these in your sideboard? Oh my god. I thought we were done with this. Well, now I'm in trouble. 7 trample is a completely different calculation than 4. Yikes. Okay. I am not, or I can block and keep the initiative, but then they have a 7/7. The initiative, scry 2. I could go to 2. They get the initiative if they even have a basic, and then I mash back. Yeah, I think I just have to go to 2 here. Not pretty, but I think blocking is losing from this position. Get to learn if they have a basic. Or did we see this island game one? Yeah, we did. They do have basics. We knew that. All right, deck. How about another Swords to Plowshares for the road? Force of Will, right on time. You stupid asshole. What can I even do here? Nothing. I'm dead. All right. The third Minskin Boo, folks. All right, now I know about that. In that case, let's get Force of Will back in. And now they've seen Rest in Peace and Endurance. Does that make it worse? I'm going to move a Rest in Peace out for the Force of Will. And this is still my game plan. Maybe I'll initiative before turn 7 this time. That would have made a difference. I'm on the play with a distressingly uncapable hand. This is so close. But too many white cards, no white sources. The Scryb Ranger, if that was Noble Hierarch, I think I'm in. Got a mulligan. This one's more like it. I'll keep, and I think I bought him the Stasis. Would love to keep Stasis and bet on my deck to produce a mana source. Maybe I should do that. Then I get Force Blue card and Spell Pierce. And my deck's got a lot of mana in it. I'm going to bottom Tropical Island. Between the mana dorks and the lands, even a Scryb Ranger gets it done. I am going to need to stick this Adventurer to win the game in a reasonable time frame. Volcanic Island pass. Immediately rewarded with the land I wanted. Basic. And they're just passing the turn over there. Now I can play around Daze and it'll hold up Spell Pierce, but it'll cost me a turn of development. I think that's worth doing. All right, we're both playing Draw Go. All right, plenty of lands here. So I might chicken out. I'm going to go for White Plume. If they force, I force back. Are we going to hardcast Force of Negation? They're cracking lands here. You have Dress Down in this build? Fascinating. Okay. I got a problem here, which is that Spell Pierce is great, but if they fight back, I have to respect Minskin Boo. And I'll at least play the Spell Pierce. Kraken again. Do I have another plan? I guess is the problem. Well, my creature is in play. I just don't have the initiative. Okay. I am not gonna F around and find out versus Minskin Boo that I know my opponent plays 3 copies of. Their deck is very cool though. Okay, did I choose wisely or do you just have Daze anyway? Okay, we did it. Come on, deck. Big hit. Seasoned Dungeoneer. Shit. Okay. Begin the beatdown. It's to untap itself. Big Vigilance. If they Minskin Boo this turn and attack with the 4/4, I can flash in Scryb Rangers and pick off Minskin Boo with a 4-point attack. And then I just got to deal with a 4/4 and the next Minskin Boo. While they're snapping off their 5th land here, brainstorm into land number 5. Is it hamster time? Sure is. Okay, are we attacking? Are we blocking? There is some consideration to blocking here. Yep. God, I hate when my opponents play well. Yep, here's this flash creature that you totally played around. White Plume Adventurer, okay. Now we might be in business. What does this do? Not as much as I want, but it does do anything at all, which is better than nothing at all. White Plume Adventurer. The initiative is now introduced. Facing down a Minskin Boo, this might be insanity, but still doing it. And I'm going to attack the Minskin Boo. This gets to untap for free twice. I do have 7 power I can put in front of their 7/7 next turn. If they attack, I could also just settle into accepting, bouncing the initiative back and forth, though this 7/7 is going to be a 10/10. I'm actually just dead to it next turn. If they have any removal at all, dead. Dragon's Rage Channeler, which is a 3/3. There it is. Seen Unholy Heat and Delirium is on. There's not a block here that makes any sense. Which sucks because that means I'm going to lose. Even Stasis doesn't win it because Minskin Boo can tick up until it can whip the hamster at me for lethal. Second 3/3. Oh no. Well, they don't have any red available. A double Ponder with double Surveil. You get to see their whole deck here. They left the card on top, though. Looked at their whole deck and decided, nope, I'm good. Scalding Tarn is red mana, or it's Mystic Sanctuary for that EI back. And they are 7ing up the hamster. Now they're showing red. And I am just dead in so many ways. I need to just take the damage and hope that something happens, I guess. What could happen at this point, I don't know. Just really needed them not to have a second Minskin Boo. Alright, deck. Help me out here. Something good. That certainly isn't it. GG's. We lost to the third Minskin Boo in Game 2 and the second Minskin Boo in Game 3. Good pivot off of their plan. A 3-2 record with updated initiative Stasis. This deck certainly has weak spots. I mean, you could just put some Hydroblast in there if Minskin Boo is an expected part of your metagame, which probably should be, let's be honest. The main deck felt reasonable. It might be a little mana heavy. The hands that had mana dorks in them felt great. The exploration came up more as a 1-of in this league than it did as a 2-of in the previous league, and it was awesome. Still don't know if I'd want to, but it's a good one to have around. Quirion Ranger might be the next card I cut for another preordain. Maybe I main deck some sort of removal like a Brazen Borrower, generic removal type thing. I could go down to 1 Teferi. With the Ranger and Mana Dork, White Plume stuff going on, you don't really need that top end action. And I boarded them out every time. That would make the Quirion Ranger and at least one of the Teferis, maybe both, honestly, become flex slots. You could play main deck removal or like Brazen Borrower. And if you bring a Swords of Plowshares into the main, that gives you a sideboard slot for a Hydroblast. Yeah, the pieces are starting to move here. This still needs some work, but the shell is fine to good. Certainly not tier 1, but it's not unplayable either. We made big steps in the right direction here today. Anyone who keeps working on this deck, let me know. I want to hear about it. Tag me on Twitter. Ace is Wild, thank you for having me update this. It was nice to revisit it. I also have genuine concerns that White Plume Adventurer won't be legal for too much longer. This card is doing crazy things to the format, and this deck might be a peripheral moment of joy in the White Initiative C. Lost to history when WPA gets the banhammer. For now, this has been a joy to work on. Everybody, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the links in the video description that help me out, especially the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.